Welcome back to the Creatively Challenged podcast for Monday, January 1st. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Nolan, and I'm here alongside Danny Stewart, the laughing guy that you heard a sentence ago. What's up?
I got my mom to start watching Stranger Things, so I'm 4 episodes into Stranger Things once again. What an incredible show it is! It's like the second time this year I'm rewatching season 1 of Stranger Things.
Now, who is your favorite character so far?
In
Stranger Things?
In season 1
Yeah,
or
sure,
overall?
In season 1, hers.
Her favorite character, she likes 11.
Yeah,
She doesn't really like Nancy.
that's
That'll change.
understandable.
That'll change.
Yeah. She likes Hop too. But the first time Hop gets introduced, like he's just surrounded by beer cans and empty bottles. My mom's like, "Oh, he drinks a lot." I'm like, he turns out being the best character of the show. So.
Well, I laughed so hard at the start of the second season when the first time you see him, or I think it's the first time where he's like eating a donut and his receptionist like takes the donut out of his mouth, hands him an apple, takes a bite of the apple, throws it away and spits it out and lights a cigarette. Like that, you went full circle there in a matter of seconds.
Yeah, I also forgot that Hop sleeps with the librarian during season 1 as well, and that's how he like she's just there's just a scene like and it just goes to Hop's like house and he's just in bed with the librarian.
Now, you haven't gone introduced here yet. It's Mike Stuglis.
Oh, what's up?
Hey, now tell me though, isn't Hop's first scene he like wakes up with all the beer, but isn't he like shirtless and then he goes on his deck and just like looks at the lake and he's in like underwear
and then he goes to the
He lights a
office.
scotch and then he goes to the office. And then the nerd with the glasses was like, "Oh, Hop, what took you so long to get in?" And the receptionist is like saying a bunch of shit that's going on, and then he's just like, "Well, let's just call him Johnson." He goes, "Well, Johnson, I was just finishing up with your wife."
Yeah, and then he says mornings are for coffee and contemplation. It's like we have a missing kid. Get your fucking
Coffee
shit
and
together.
contemplation.
Oh yeah, real quick, keep an eye on the thing so the soundboard doesn't shit out on us, like if the waveform's still generating. But that's unrelated to the show.
No, it's
Just in case it
understandable.
happens.
'Cause
Our
it happens
soundboard
on
that
yours.
we use for the show sometimes sucks.
Often.
So just keep an eye on that, Dan, so we don't lose our show. But for the uninitiated, each and every week here on Creatively Challenged, we talk entertainment news, review a movie, and discuss random topics that we bring to this $34 card table. But we don't have any news this week. No news happened.
Well, I feel like news happened, but we were just news that didn't interest us.
I guess, yeah, like
because news is always happening.
it was.
Christmas happened. What did you guys get for Christmas?
Ryan, what did you get for Christmas?
I received
What did Santa bring you?
Santa for the kids out there isn't real. Just so you know, if you're
You can't say that.
the parents do it, Santa's not real. The jig is up, kids.
It's part of the
Grow up.
secret. No, everybody.
So you know, my parents got me the gifts because Santa's not real and is a fairy tale. Welcome to the real world, you jackass. But I got Kirkland's.
You're really trying to be funny.
I tried. I've tried all my life. It's never happened. But I got some Kirkland signature socks.
Ooh.
They're merino wool. They're really nice. And a Nintendo Switch.
Ah, that's right. So that all 4 of us can play Mario Kart when we get back to our apartment. But Mike, what did you get from Santa?
From Santa.
Yeah.
Well, my parents every year do like a Santa present. They like wrap it in like Santa paper. They've always done it. It's fun.
Well, Santa does that though,
Yeah.
and the elves.
Yeah.
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 Sure.
He does it. No, they got me I got a bunch of cool shit, but one of them was a wing book, and it had over 70 wing recipes in it. Made one of them yesterday.
Chicken wings.
Chicken wings.
Okay.
What the fuck else?
For some
Paul
reason-
McCartney. In the
X wings,
That's what I
Y
said.
wings.
A-wings.
A-wings.
Chicken wings.
Okay.
U-wings. They're U-wings now.
Patrick Ewing.
Yeah. Oh,
Ewing McGregor.
Yeah. So chicken wings, and I made one of the recipes yesterday, and it was spicy garlic and ginger, and it was like a ginger sauce. And
Did it have red hair?
no, no, it didn't.
Does the carpet match the drapes?
And it came with like a Parmesan side, and it was delicious. So
Would you
we'll
make it
have to-
again?
Yes, I would. It was
Would
good.
you make
but
it
there's
for us?
Yeah, it's really easy. The sauce was awesome.
Do you plan to make everything in that book that you got?
Some of them are kind of gay.
How
Like
so?
no, like there's like a trendy section, and some of them are really cool, but some of them are like, who's gonna eat that? But there's a lot of them are awesome.
Are there like any like sweet and sour sauces like a mango habanero? Like that'd be gas.
I don't know exactly like mango habanero.
Because
but
like
there's
if we
stuff
could
like
make
that.
our own like Chinese chicken, like that'd be.
I would say, like,
like Chinese. I'm doing quotes in air Chinese because really it's all American.
Yeah.
I'd say like 95% of the recipes in there are like awesome. There's one that's it's like bacon. It's like the wings are bacon wrapped, and there's I don't remember the side. It's bacon and cheese, and it's bacon wrapped wings with like a cheese sauce on the side. Yeah, those look good.
Me and my mom made dinner last night, and we did like these seasoned chicken breasts. We wrapped bacon on them, and we cooked them over like this tray of cut up vegetables. We had more cut up bacon in there, but then we had potatoes, sweet potatoes, peppers, onions, and some other one, and and it was delicious. But then what I did was I kind of separated the chicken and the vegetables, and then I put sauces on my plate. I put Chick-fil-A sauce, ranch, and barbecue, and I dipped the chicken in all three sauces. Not at the same time.
Yeah,
just
you're not
like,
a
you know,
savage.
like my first bite was Chick-fil-A sauce. Chick-fil-A sauce was just incredible, and then the second bite I was able to get chicken bacon and ranch, and for chicken bacon ranch is just one of the greatest combinations of all time.
Absolutely.
Like, yeah.
Subway coined the sandwich.
Chicken
ones?
bacon ranch sandwiches?
Well, I don't know if they're the first ones, but that's like their most famous sub, probably, right?
The chicken bacon
That or
ranch.
the club.
I always made my own there. I never ordered their stuff. Do you guys order off the
Oh,
menu
you
there?
can make your own sandwich there?
At Subway?
No, because I felt like they always said, have
Yeah.
it your way and all this.
Yeah.
No, that's Burger King. Wait, is it? Burger King's
Oh,
have
yeah.
it your way.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, yeah. But Subway was like eat fresh. But but on the commercial there'd always be this kid like looking at the window and like pointing at the fucking toppings he wanted on his sandwich. And then you'd go in there and do that and they're like, we can't do that. Oh really? You can't you physically cannot pick up that salami and put it on my Subway club.
You guys
can't
don't do that at Subway?
No, I just get what's like their sandwiches on the
Oh.
menu.
No,
I
I
thought
get-
that
No.
was the thing.
Every time I'm
no,
like, I will
but
have a wheat
I-
with this thing and this thing.
I do get a Subway club, but I add salami.
Okay.
And let me just give you my whole Subway order. Sometimes when it's like cold out and I do want a hot sandwich, I do get the chicken bacon ranch and I throw it through the toaster. But usually I'm a cold sandwich guy. I like the cold sandwiches, so I get the Subway club, add salami, go pepper jack cheese or provolone, but mainly
cheese.
pepper jack cheese, no toasted. And then I'll get lettuce, onions, jalapenos, and Chipotle Southwest sauce.
Everything on that sounded good except for lettuce.
You need some green on it. Except I had
don't
Jersey
need
Mike's the other. I had Jersey Mike's the other day, and I love Jersey Mike's. Their sandwiches are delicious. But when you ask for lettuce on the sandwich, they make a lettuce sandwich with some meat
It's
on
a
it.
bed.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Mike, you're a staunch protester of green things. Why do you hate vegetables? Just why?
I don't know. I just don't like the flavor of them. There's better tasting things. And you know what? I take good enough care of my body, like working out regularly to the point where I can kind of get away with it, to the fact of I'll never be thin, but with how I work out, I'll probably never be fat again either.
Okay.
So there's like a fine line, so I can just I just eat the shit I want. And you know what? No one is gonna choose. And if you do, fuck you. If you choose veggies over a burger or steak, seriously, fuck you.
Sometimes they're more of an accommodation, or not accommodation, a side. Accommodation is not the right word
Yeah,
there.
no, it's not.
Whoa. They're more of a side to those things. Like, yeah, burger's great, but like you get some side on that. Little veggie action. I know fries are the perfect side to a burger.
No, you're talking about the condiments on the burger.
That too. I mean,
I literally
they can
just
overstay
put
their welcome
I
sometimes.
literally
See, but
just
it's like
put
with-
cheese on the burger, roll the dice on bacon. That's
Okay.
my burger.
So, I'll go anything on a burger except
Boogers.
tomato and actually you want to know what, like I usually don't like lettuce on my burgers, like I usually when I'm eating like a chicken sandwich or like just eating chicken straight up, I feel like chicken belongs with vegetables. Like chicken's okay with vegetables, but like when you're eating a burger, I'm just saying like, well,
Yeah.
I'm going down with the ship here. Might as well.
You're getting
know.
dirty.
It's like
I
you're
do
trying to
I
make
do,
it healthier. It's like why?
yeah,
it's
like
disgusting
my
as it is.
my ideal burger is grilled onions, bacon, barbecue sauce, and mayo. Like just that's the best.
Just clog the arteries.
Yeah, just kill yourself.
Wait, just kill yourself?
Yeah.
No burger?
No, you just grab a rope and you hang yourself from the ceiling.
That's
fan.
probably my favorite topping on a
yeah.
burger.
Like I'll never understand.
Like and subscribe if you like hanging yourself. We'd like to see some audience reaction.
I'll never understand these vegans who are eating like shipwreck parts or whatever it is they eat. You know?
Oh yeah.
What?
What makes me mad is the people who will like go to Jimmy John's or go to a burger joint and they'll have the thing now where instead of the buns you can just get lettuce.
Ugh.
Like the unwich is what they have at Jimmy John's where they just stuff all the sandwich
Oh,
shit
yeah.
inside lettuce. And
Yeah.
it's kind of like not that good. I've had it.
No, it's stupid.
It's just a weird way to eat meat.
Because Jimmy John's bread is really good.
Yeah,
I like Jimmy
it's
John's
very good.
bread. Like, I haven't been to Jimmy John's in a while. Actually,
missing out.
I've been J. Mike's and Subway if I'm going sandwiches.
We've talked about food. Are we hungry?
Yeah.
Is that what this is?
Yeah,
I have not eaten today.
I woke up and came to Mike's house. I didn't eat anything.
Jesus.
Yeah,
My
Yeah.
breakfast was coffee.
You're grown boys. You got to take care of yourselves.
I know. That's why. Like when I was on the way over here, like my stomach gargled, and I was just like, "All right, if we're gonna see that movie later, let's get Legends because I'm hungry."
A restaurant that I am
that
no longer
Ryan is
going
not
to.
allowed to go
You told
to.
the story.
I have. I was just about to say I've told that story. But you guys want to get into the recurring?
I would.
The recurring segment?
I would enjoy that.
Dan?
Yeah, so recurring segments. We're rounding out our month here. We're getting through our first recurring cycle of our recurring segments.
Yes.
So this will be Desert Island once again. And today we struggled to find a Desert Island subject since we are at the end of the year here. No! You guys are listening to this in 2018.
It's the future.
It is the future for us, but it is the present for you. It is 2018, but we'll get into that later. But today, for Desert Island subject, guys, what would be your Desert Island album? Music album? If you could give a close second, maybe mention that, but you need to figure out an album, any album of all time that you would have to listen to for the rest of time if you're stuck on an island. Maybe you get help. Maybe
Maybe you get help.
Maybe
like
you get
saved?
help. Yeah, maybe you get saved while you're playing "Help" by the Beatles. If you choose the "Help" album by the Beatles.
Is that your?
No, that's not mine. But what's yours?
So thinking about this, you have to differentiate your favorite artists or bands with albums. And I chose a vinyl I listen to very regularly, and that is the Chronicle album, which is the greatest hits album by CCR, because the whole album blends itself together so well. So many great songs on there. You said there's a second one.
Yeah, there's
I
a
was
volume
not
2.
aware of that. There
It's
was not.
good.
But the first volume is incredible. So that would be what I would go with, because I was thinking, I'm like, well, what Johnny Cash album would I want? What Led Zeppelin album would I want? But I was like, but no, I listened to CCR's Chronicle probably. It used to be weekly. It's less than that now, but it's so good and it blends itself together so well. So I'd go with Chronicle. I love it. I could listen to it daily.
Damn.
It takes up a good bit of time. When you're on an island, you need some upbeat and nice songs. And that's an upbeat album.
I feel like if you got
It's joyous.
Chronicle on by CCR, like you could like picture yourself in like a movie montage, because CCR songs are always played during montages in movies.
Yeah, they're very upbeat, and I feel like if you have a like Dark Side of the Moon, I'd probably like jump off a tree and kill myself.
It'd be sad.
Yeah, I'd be sad
Yeah.
after a couple days of listening to that.
It's their music, especially the hits on this album, are all such re-listenable songs, and they still don't feel very dated even today, despite like how it doesn't have a sound like today's music. But like it's very just good re-listenable music, and that's a very good pick.
And you've seen Fogerty.
Yeah. Oh, damn good. Still got it. Fogerty
At
still got it.
Chicago Theater a couple years back.
Yeah. No, he was at the concert outdoor venue at Northerly Island, which is by the Chicago Planetarium. So it's on like its own peninsula, and it's a really cool thing
Yeah.
because in the backdrop of the stage you could see the entire skyline. Very cool.
You know, all of that over there is was grounds for the 1893 World's Fair,
Really?
Columbia Exposition, and at the same time, H.H. Holmes was going around Chicago and murdering people in his like crazy house. Or
Oh
whatever.
yeah. Is that Leonardo DiCaprio movie with him as H.H. Holmes
There has
happening?
been nothing spoken about it. It's like Leonardo DiCaprio like has the rights to the film, so I'd like
Oh.
to think he's using them and writing a script or figuring it out.
I hope. That'd
But
be good.
I just know Scorsese's supposed to direct it.
And that was like news like last spring.
No,
It was around Oscar time. It's been a year
Yeah.
since we've kind of heard that. It was like
was
they
around
bought
Oscars.
the rights to The Devil in the White City. Or
in
no,
high school.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
I
was
guess
Wow.
when it was first
I
rumored,
was
but
in
like earlier this
Mr.,
year.
Fuck, what
A
was his
teacher.
name? It doesn't fucking
Yeah, it doesn't
matter.
know.
He was my English teacher, and we heard the rights were bought, and we asked him, and he was one of those pretentious teachers. We're like, oh, what do you think of Leonardo DiCaprio getting the rights to Devil in the White City? He goes, well, Devil in the White City is one of my favorite pieces of literature in the past so-and-so. And I'm like, seriously, fuck you. Say whether you like it or not. I don't give a fuck. He like went into this thing about Devil in the White City and didn't even like comment on Leo DiCaprio buying the script. Then we got into Wolf of Wall Street, and he's like, yeah, to me it was just too repetitive. And I'm like, we're done here. I'm done with you.
Yeah, that's enough. That's enough.
But back to Desert Islands. Ryan, what is your desert island?
I just want to correct myself real quick just for continuity. It's not by the planetarium. That venue is by Soldier Field. That is all I have.
It's
on
kind of by the planetarium. No, you're
It
over
is,
there
but
on
it's
the,
it's
you're over
right
there
next
on
to
the
Soldier
lakefront.
Field.
Yeah.
I just wanted to correct myself because it drove me nuts. Mike had such a salient point on that it shouldn't be from your favorite artist too, because like even though you might have a favorite artist, the best album to listen to over and over might not necessarily be from your favorite artist. And so I'm picking Bridge Over Troubled Water by Simon and Garfunkel. That album, I found that album in high school and can't stop listening to it since. I think it's very layered. It's got different songs, and they're all very much the re-listenable thing. And a close second would be Rumors by Fleetwood Mac. I think that's like perfect
that's a
pop
great
music. Everything's awesome. They're both albums that have just solid tracks the whole way through. And I would like. Are we gonna have these on vinyl on a record player, or would you rather have it on like an iPod with headphones so you could walk around the island?
Pick your poison. It really doesn't matter.
I'm a big listening to music on the go kind of guy. I think
Yeah.
that's a good way to experience it. So I'm gonna go. You got like just some nice headphones.
It's
and an
assumed
iPod.
you've got like a charger for this and a
It's solar.
and,
Sure.
and an outlet for your
You found
vinyl
one
player. Just
in
yeah.
the cave.
Yeah. Yeah.
So those are mine.
I will say though, not to interrupt you, Bridge Over Troubled Water. You can get depressed listening to that.
Yeah.
That album. It's phenomenal, but it can get
Really?
get pretty sad. I think it can
No.
get sad at points because that's the same one with
Simon and Garfunkel are
yeah.
yeah.
That's That's the same one with what am I
Boxer?
thinking of?
Yeah.
Is that what you're
Yes.
thinking of?
Yeah.
I love that song.
That's a great song.
That track has two different interpretations by the fans and by Paul Simon.
What
he-
did Paul Simon say about it?
He was, I forget, I flip-flopped and I don't remember who was saying what, but some people say like it's uplifting because the boxer is fighting, and then either the audience or Paul Simon was saying no, it's not uplifting, it's very sad, he's like going through a rough time and can only fight. So I don't really know which to interpret, but I like the song, and I don't necessarily get depressed when I listen to that album. I more just get into cycles of deep thought, especially on the slower tracks. But yeah, great album. Great album. That's what I'm doing. And would you do the record player or the iPod?
I'd do the record player.
Okay. Just
Yeah.
for like sound
Just
fidelity.
because I own one and I enjoy flipping it and actually seeing the music play.
I get you.
But like, could it be like maybe you just have a like a stereo and like a Walkman like Star-Lord, so you can bring it on the go and you just have a place to where it is.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? Hell, fuck it. This is all imaginary anyway.
Yeah.
Sure.
Unfortunately, though, you don't have a spaceship like Star-Lord, so you
That'd be
can't
really
get
nice.
off the desert island.
You can get off.
There's probably a lot of getting off, actually.
I mean, what else
just-
would you
you're
do?
Stuck on a desert island. I was thinking about this morning, and Led Zeppelin is probably my favorite band of all time, but I wouldn't want to be listening to like Led Zeppelin 1. Like, I feel like I'd have to be really high energy or like really depressed to listen to Led Zeppelin, and that's just not the case. I'm thinking about Survival. And I was also thinking, like, I'd say this is my number 2 though. So, Elv 1S, which is 30 of Elvis's, or 31 of Elvis's greatest hits. And from 2002, it's just a combination album where 31 of Elvis's best songs are just put on the same, and it also introduces us to the Junkie XL remix of A Little Less Conversation.
So good.
So you've just got like all of Elvis's best songs, happy, sad, bluesy, like rock. Like it's just, I know it's not like one of Elvis's original albums, but you need your Elvis. But that's a number 2 for me. The album I'm going with is 1967 to 1970 by the Beatles. It's another like what's this word called?
Compilation?
Yeah,
Grouping?
like a compilation album, but not really. It's just their best songs from those 6 years. Like in the span of 6 years, like you've just got all of my favorite Beatles songs and then a few more. But like, I love the Beatles because there's a Beatles song for everything, for every mood, for every situation. And like being stuck on a desert island, I think like the Beatles would just be the best. But we've got Strawberry Fields Forever and Penny Lane, and then you go to Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, Day in the Life. Like it'd be fun to just put yourself in a little like a montage to yourself in your own mind with A Day in the Life going. But then there's a suicide in that song, so maybe that's how it ends.
So you like the later Beatles compared to when they were younger?
Yeah, but 1967 and 1970 does have some re-recordings of their older songs. Like Hey Jude is in there, Obla-Di Obla-Da, While My Guitar Gently Weeps, and then Back in the USSR is also in there. And then the last 2 songs on the album are Let It Be and The Long and Winding Road. And it's got like it's got some of the best Beatles songs on there. It's got some more obscure ones, but it just hits every emotion you could ever possibly feel. And it's a great
Let It
Beatles
Be is
album.
so good.
Oh my God, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's good.
So is Hey Jude. Dude, I
thought you were going somewhere else because I wasn't thinking, like, when you were naming songs. I thought you were saying Hey Jew at first.
oh no.
My brain wasn't turned on when you're like, Hey Jew. I'm like, whoa, they don't have a song called that.
No. Dude, like, seeing Paul McCartney live was, like, still, like, one of the best experiences of my life. Like, I got to see a Beatle live. And, like, we na 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 Hey Jude for, like, 10 minutes. It was crazy. There was just a point, we'd been doing it for 5 minutes already, and then Paul McCartney's like, let's hear the girls now. and then you just hear the chicks. He's like, all right, guys, let's show them what we got. And then it was the guys. It was incredible. It was like the greatest. Like no concert will ever top that. It was incredible. It was awesome. And then just like a lot of songs from that album were also like played live. And like every time I hear one of them like in the car or something like that, I'll just be like, I heard the song live. It was dope.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
I like that little story. And I asked about the earlier Beatles stuff because I kind of like how old pop songs.
I Want to Hold Your Hand is also on there.
That's just what I was going to
Yeah.
mention. Old pop songs that are about like love were so much simpler than like you got songs now where it's like Shake Your Ass Girl.
Yeah.
Let me do coke off of you. But like the Beatles, it's just I want to hold your hand. It's
It's
simple.
such a 60s
it's innocent.
love, like
Yeah.
peace and love, man.
It's like the whole struggle is just holding the hand or like laying a smooch on a gal's cheek. It was
Yeah.
a simpler time. And,
Dude,
I kind of am nostalgic for that, even though I wasn't alive.
One of the
then.
greatest love songs of all time is I'm a Believer by the Monkees, which,
Hmm.
of course, got remastered.
You tell me you don't like the Smash
Kidding
Mouth
me?
version?
The Smash Mouth version with Eddie Murphy is, of course, a great cover of it. But the Monkees, where would you be without them?
Because my favorite artist is Smash Mouth, and it was really hard for me to not have any of their albums as my Desert Island album. Okay, don't you guys just love Smash Mouth?
Dude, All Star, of course, is the greatest song of all time. What else do they do?
I don't know. It was crazy. I went to a music festival a few years ago in Milwaukee, and they were playing Smash Mouth, and it was all kids our age, and everyone they gave away Shrek ears to put like it was a headband with Shrek ears, and it's like all the kids had it, and it's just nuts because they're just so defined by their link with Shrek. It's ridiculous, and
That's
it's weird because we were just like little munchkins when that came out. I think it was like
2001.
that song came out in '99. I think they didn't make it for the movie. I don't remember. I don't know, but it's so weird that like now, after their careers are just done, they've got a cult following by us.
Well, I like how like DreamWorks or whatever like lets them do that at their shows. They can bring Shrek ears and like hand them out to people
Yeah, it's
at their
cool.
shows. Yeah.
Is that all we have for Desert Islands?
Yeah.
Mike, any love songs in the '60s that you like that isn't by the Monkees?
It's a good song though.
Fuck, what's the Elvis song?
It's Now or Never.
Yeah.
You always sing
That
that
one?
Dude, that
Or
tequila
Can't
commercial.
Stop
I think it's
Falling in Love. Or,
Ooh,
yeah.
Can't
Can't help
yeah.
but falling in love.
Ooh, what's the one from Blade Runner though? That's on.
Yeah,
There's
pretty
two
sure.
Blade Runners. There's two
that's
Elvis
on
songs in it.
LF1S, but that's not how you pronounce the album. But the what's it called?
There's Burning Love and Can't Help Falling in Love
Yeah.
in Blade Runner. What are you trying to think of? Describe it.
The scene where him and Gosling are fighting is Can't Help Falling in Love.
Yeah.
I know. Hold on.
That scene is awesome.
That movie is fucking great. And I'm going to get into it next week when we get into our top 5 movies of 2017. But man,
How about Denis Villeneuve saying it's a 4-hour cut?
I'd watch that.
Yeah.
But he's not giving it to people.
It's
Suspicious
probably-
Minds.
Oh, that is in there. It was not
Yeah.
Burning Love. It's Suspicious Minds. I was mistaken.
We can walk
Oh, great song.
together with suspicious minds.
There's
it's
a-
such a great song.
If you follow closely, there's a distinct difference between young Elvis's voice and like old Elvis's voice. Like if you kind of like listen to the earlier tracks, it's almost weird how much he's changed his like
Was he a
his
smoker?
style. I don't know. He definitely did
I think
drugs.
he- yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and he ate like shit. I watched this documentary with like his housekeeper down in Graceland, and she was just like, she's the one who like invented fried peanut butter and banana sandwiches for him, and like she'd just make him these ridiculous like soul food feasts, and he'd eat it like all, and if he didn't finish it, he'd board it up. He'd tell her to take the day off the next day, and he'd finish it the next day.
Wow.
Like,
So she killed him.
I'd like to think it was more over the drugs or maybe the alcohol that killed him, but you know. sure a lot of unhealthy food didn't help.
No.
Dying taking a shit is awesome. I don't care what anyone says.
It wasn't the shit though, right? He just was like drugged
die
and
because of
then-
the poop. He was just so
No,
fucking
he felt like
beat.
this pressure in like his stomach or chest or something like that, and he thought he had to take a shit, but really he was like having a massive heart attack or whatever he died from.
It's so weird and like delusional for people to say that Elvis didn't actually die, and they like think they see him at like a bus stop in like Kansas or something. It's like, you're an idiot. He died.
Mr. Nooner looks like Elvis.
He does. Yeah.
I think he just has that look because a lot of people do that hairdo.
Oh yeah, it's very popular.
And if you're 50 and you have that hairdo, they're like, it's Elvis.
God. But nobody would have that hairdo if Elvis didn't do it first.
Probably not.
Elvis and the Beatles changed the world.
Him and Cash have a similar hairdo. It's different, but it's
Yeah.
also similar. They look alike.
Johnny Cash, of course, is like best country singer ever. But like, you know, obviously his music stems from old country and folk, which is just fine because he hit the peak for it. But like Elvis and the Beatles like changed the whole game. I mean, coming out at the same time, or within 10 years of each other, you've got Elvis doing his sexy hip swing thing and greasing up his hair, and like he was a greaser, and then there were the Socias and Pony Boy and all that, and then the Beatles come over and they've got their shaggy hair and the whole British invasion and the Rolling Stones and everything like that. It was just a huge movement for music and the world. I mean, we were like seconds away from getting blown away in like the late 50s and the 60s from atomic bombs.
It's good that it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could have been a
I
different
felt like I
place.
just went into like a radio show.
This has slowly turned into an NPR podcast where we're
Yeah.
just like talking about the music wave of the 60s and
Yeah.
70s.
You know how you fix it? You say a cuss word. 'Cause
Fuck.
Yeah,
There we go.
Fuck NPR.
Is there, just checking so we didn't lose all that great talk, like the show's still going, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Going
Because we've just lost good episodes sometimes.
I wanted to make it the podcast without making that stupid joke. I couldn't do it.
What'd you say?
Icington.
Yeah.
No.
I said go though.
Are you guys ready for our movie reviews?
Yes.
Because we did see a movie this
We
week.
did.
We saw Molly's.
wait.
Oh,
If you have a Desert Island album, and you know you were stuck on a desert island, what album would you listen to? You could let us know. Comments and whatnot. You could let us.
or alternatively, if you want to listen to Jessica Alba, you could let us know in the comments as well. Or just disregard my bad joke.
Terrible.
You know,
What? I don't get it.
Alba and album. You know,
Oh.
the fact that I have to explain it shows how shitty that was.
I was just like, oh, I'd listen to her, but why is she involved?
You would listen.
Ryan, the two don't even correlate.
No, I'm slowly slipping out of sanity.
Like Kurt Cobain.
A little bit.
Wow.
Nirvana had
Yeah.
they're a band and
Yeah.
Cobain lost his head.
Yeah.
So let's move on.
So, let us know your Desert Island album. You had to pick one. What would it be? Let us know. Let's get in the Molly's
Thanks for
game.
picking up the momentum after I
Yeah.
stopped it. We saw a movie this week. We saw Molly's Game, directed and written by Aaron Sorkin, who you might know from TV's The West Wing, Newsroom, or Steve Jobs. It's about the true story of Molly Bloom, an Olympic-class skier who ran the world's most high-stakes poker game and became an FBI target because of it. It stars Jessica Chastain, Idris Elba, Michael Cera, and Kevin Costner. Let's jump right into the positives, Mike. What do you got?
I got a lot. I really, really enjoyed this movie, and you guys will touch on it later, so I won't. The performances are great, but this is Aaron Sorkin's directorial debut, so I was very interested because he is, next to Tarantino, probably the most famous writer nowadays. Would you say so?
I'd say him and Tarantino are definitely like the most highest regarded writers of dialogue ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so another reason to be excited for this movie, and it hit all those points. From the very get-go, the first scene, you get that classic Sorkin dialogue that just reels you in. And I was trying to find a word after the movie to describe it, and the word that comes to mind is addictive, because this movie's 2 hours and 20 minutes, and I was never bored because all his scenes are so well planned out. Maybe not even always focusing on the story, but the scene contained in itself always has such snappy dialogue between the characters that is super intriguing. And he once again hits on all the points in that. His directorial style was very cool, and how he showed some of the poker game being broken down and stuff. How he presents some of the characters in the movie, since Molly Bloom didn't use real names to describe them. There's a sense of like mysteriousness of the movie, and I love that as well. So yeah, I just was really enthralled with not even the character of Molly Bloom, just this story, because it had this Goodfellas-esque vibe to it through Jessica Chastain narrating it and Aaron Sorkin's snappy dialogue. So I was really entertained, and one of my favorite movies in terms of dialogue this year. I was just, from start to finish, super into it.
For sure. Dan?
I also enjoyed this movie a lot. I think, this was definitely a film in which you can compliment the behind-the-scenes work. Aaron Sorkin was incredible. The dialogue was just so snappy. Like, it felt so lyrical, but it also felt like, like proper etiquette in speaking. I mean, Molly was kind of like a smartass who was kind of reading a book word for word. Like, oh, you could read a book, dude? Like, it was she's the type of person that Will Hunting would confront in a bar for reading a book word for word. That's a very obscure Good Will Hunting reference, but that's how I feel. And just in terms of directing and shooting, I had to look up who the cinematographer was, because this film was, it was well shot in the aspect of lighting and shadows to really kind of tell the emotion of a scene. And the cinematographer, named Charlotte Bruce Christensen, is foreign, and she kind of did a lot of foreign films before, but in the last 2 years, she's done The Girl on the Train, Fences, and now Molly's Game. So, all films that kind of have these emotional plots that kind of that all really kind of had great actors in them who could, show their emotion, but also be in an environment where lighting and color could kind of tell the emotion.
The cinematography is very sleek, and it glamorizes violence in a very cool way. It feels like you're watching something you're not supposed to.
Right. And yeah, it kind of added a lot to the film, just the way it was shot. So the behind the scenes work was awesome. Just the directing, the cinematography, and the writing by Aaron Sorkin. And then God, Idris Elba is just fantastic. I wish there were, I wish every scene could have had Idris Elba, but that's just not something, I don't know if that's a negative of mine.
Yeah, he's very much
get
supporting.
into there. That's a positive. Kevin Costner was awesome as well, but really just the ensemble cast. I feel like there was a bunch of people who were like, oh, I've seen that person in a movie before, but they became this, this gambling degenerate millionaire who's just putting their lives on the line every week to play in this game. And it was really just a well done story. I felt like all the actors were into it just as much as Aaron Sorkin was into writing it and directing it. And then Jessica Chastain was absolutely stunning. Not only did she look good all the movie, but she was incredible in capturing the emotions of doing this, and even reportedly the way she spoke in the movie, just that to the point snappy way of speaking is actually how the real Molly Bloom speaks. And that's just awesome. She was great the whole movie. She it was, as the main character, she kept the plot moving. She did very well. I'm impressed, and she could be nominated going forward here, and if she does, then she's well deserving because she really kept the movie going.
Yeah, I looked up afterwards. I know you're going to kick it to Ryan in a minute. I looked up afterwards and following the nominations and the patterns the movie's been having. Jessica Chastain and Aaron Sorkin have been getting a lot of praise. Idris Elba is getting very little buzz, which bums me out because you noticed, like, as you said, I thought he was, in
he
terms of
was
supporting
awesome.
characters
Yeah.
this year, he's one that stands out.
He was awesome in that, yeah. And, yeah, I just mentioned it with my negatives, but I don't think it affects the film too much. But Ryan, go ahead with your positives. What did you like about this movie?
Sure. I haven't seen all of Aaron Sorkin's work, but I really, really like the way he kind of commands any scene that has engaging dialogue. And so what he does, I've kind of always say this when I talk about him. He kind of writes that feeling. He writes dialogue it's always those things when you walk away from a conversation or an argument and you always come up with those things that you should have said. You're like, oh, I wish I had that in my head. His dialogue, everyone exchanges those things you wish that you knew. It's always those cutting lines, those arguments that you wish you had. He's always just smart. And it's not necessarily realistic dialogue, but it's almost like hyper realistic, just sharp stuff. And it's as Mike says, addictive. It's really fun to watch. And I don't have a problem with it not being realistic because it shouldn't be. It's a movie. And it's very entertaining to just listen to these conversations. And I have to commend him on his command of explaining a otherwise very convoluted story. I think the story of Molly Bloom has so many different avenues it could go down, so many different intricate things about it. And he allowed us to understand all of it, including the game of poker, which I know nothing about and don't know the rules of. There were like fun scenes where she would explain what was happening in the game and why it was important, and I actually was able to follow along, though I don't know the objective of the game. And so that's really my biggest praises. Again, great performances all around.
You know what was cool, too, is he doesn't expositionally slam what the terms are in your face. The term rake, which is, I think, paying the government them taxing you or something,
the house,
making your game
yeah.
legit. And I didn't know what it was. And I'm like, they keep saying this, but they keep hitting it on the head so much throughout the movie because it's a plot point that by the end you're like, I get it.
Yep.
And that's not easy to do, is for him to not take the easy way out and just Molly Bloom go, oh, by the way, these are the terms you need to know for the movie. No, by repetitiveness, you get them through. And that's really commendable for something that's complicated like poker.
Right.
Negatives.
Do you wanna hit some
Start.
negatives? You want me to start?
Start.
So the movie is titled Molly's Game, and the synopsis reads, who ran the most high stakes poker game and became an FBI agent. That part is focused on greatly and flushed out a lot. The character of Molly Bloom, I don't feel like we got to know her that much. I feel like there's a couple of scenes, especially one with Kevin Costner that you pointed out to me, where it's like, all right, we've kind of hinted at who Molly Bloom is. Now we're just going to throw this at you of, Molly, these are your problems and this is what you need to fix. I was just talking about him not doing expositional dialogue with the game of poker, which he didn't, but he kind of did it to describe Molly at the end of the movie, and that was a flaw of mine. You don't really get to know Molly. She's just, but by the end, all I got out of it was she's a really competitive person, but she did illegal things. And the movie definitely doesn't glamorize what she did, but it's almost, I'm almost like she's like kind of a piece of shit, and I'm not really rooting for her by the end. And as Dan said, it was kind of similar to American Made in the aspect of it was so fun to watch, but I don't feel like we got to know the characters that well. Even Idris Elba, there's this cool relationship with his daughter, and that was probably the best relationship in the movie, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So, as a character study, I think the movie doesn't hit what it could, but as showing the life of poker and her chaotic lifestyle, it succeeded in that aspect. But where something like The Wolf of Wall Street succeeds as you find out who Jordan Belfort is, I feel like this movie didn't do that for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there weren't a lot of negatives that I could pull out of it. I did feel like it was similar to American Made, like you. Like, it was just an enjoyable film. But some of the plot, some of its best characters weren't involved a lot. Like Idris Elba and Kevin Costner, you touched on it. Like they weren't heavily involved at a lot of points in time. Luckily, Chastain did a great job to keep the movie going, but like, you got to know a lot more characters that were only in the movie for like 5 minutes tops, rather than like, Idris Elba and Kevin Costner, who kind of held a more powerful role in the overall plot, I guess. But maybe that's just, what was going on with the flashback, and she was telling her story to Idris Elba. But, I felt like you'd get to know somebody on the screen for like 5 minutes that was playing in the game, and they were almost more focused on than Idris Elba and Kevin Costner were. And then you might mention the scene at the end, so I'm going to give you the whole thing. There was kind of this campy scene with Kevin Costner just kind of showing up where Molly is at the end of the movie, and it just felt very, very placed, and it kind of felt, in terms of the rest of the movie, it was definitely the most like, okay, we're watching a movie. We're no longer watching a biopic. We're watching like, just a Hollywood like, story. And I was just kind of like, oh, there you go, because it's just it definitely just kind of like puts a stick right into the plot, just saying like, okay, this is the scene.
I see what you did there. Stick into the plot.
Yeah.
Hey.
Reference in the movie.
Yeah,
Reference in the movie.
yeah. I can't. I was gonna like say what it was, but yeah, it's in the movie. But it's just definitely a point where you're reminded you're watching a movie and you're not really watching like a piece on the person's life anymore. And it was just kind of glaring, and it didn't kind of fit the tone of the rest of the movie. But overall, I did still enjoy this movie, and the few negatives I pulled out of it didn't really affect it much. But Ryan, what are your negatives?
Well, going off of what you said, there's a lot of time spent introducing these different poker players, and there's a light shined on them, and all these different people take up time in the movie. It's very long, and we never get to know Molly that well. Why do we spend time on these poker players? We could have used that developing the relationship with her father that then becomes a pivotal point of the resolve of the film at the end. And because of that, it goes into this muddled scene that almost for me, and it was that switch that Dan's talking about where he went, we're going into a movie. It felt like a Hallmark movie scene where it got overly sentimental between Molly and her father, who is a rather unsavory type. And then all of a sudden, everything's sort of okay. Mm-hmm. It didn't make sense. I thought there should have been a lot more so we could deserve that pathos in that scene at that point, and we shouldn't have spent our time knowing these poker players. I think if this movie was to be redone, I would say it should be either spent on the poker players entirely without the father involved, or the father gets a lot more time, and I would have rather that it was a little more condensed in that regard. Other than that, no complaints. I like the movie.
So Aaron Sorkin's last two movies have been biopics: Steve Jobs and Molly's Game.
And before that, he did Moneyball.
Social Network too.
Yeah,
And
So he
Social
wrote
Network.
them.
So he's been doing them.
But I want to compare the last two. I think Steve Jobs is a better movie, right?
Never seen it.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
I loved it.
Which
Michael
Steve Jobs
Fassbender.
movie? Oh,
The Michael Fassbender.
I think
He writes it.
overall, yes, Steve Jobs is like a better made movie, but I think in terms of like entertainment, sit on the couch and rewatch it again, I think Molly's Game might have more rewatch value.
Yeah.
Like I feel like there's a lot more going on. And Steve Jobs, it's kind of a slow, drawn out plot where you learn about his family issues to get to the place where he's at. Molly's Game is like this the entire time until the end. Mm-hmm. So
Now, so you haven't seen Steve Jobs?
No.
I know you're a big Jeff Daniels fan. There's this scene between Michael Fassbender and Jeff Daniels. You need to see this
Who does
movie.
he play in it?
He plays
he plays the guy who takes over Apple. He owned Pepsi, and he takes over the CEO of Apple's
Tim Cook?
side.
No, that's their guy now.
Scully. John
Okay.
Scully.
Yeah, Scully.
That's what it was.
Okay.
But yeah, since you like Aaron Sorkin, I really recommend that you check that out.
For sure.
So let's score this.
Okay. I am sitting at a 3.5 out of 5 Goldblums. Dan?
Dan?
Yeah, similar to American Made. It's a fun movie to watch, to sit on the couch, learn about somebody. Looking up what the actual story was afterwards. Aaron Sorkin actually did a good job at capturing what actually happened as well. There weren't a lot of like fake things thrown in there, except maybe the end with Kevin Costner. But Molly Bloom never really touched on that book. But I'd like to think that didn't really happen in real life. But still an enjoyable film. I really liked it. The acting, the writing, the directing, the cinematography. I'm sitting at I'm giving it a rookie score, but it's at a 4 for me.
Same. 4. 4 out of
Sweet.
5.
So
right.
we're at like a 3.7.
I don't know.
I'm gonna do the
Calculator
math. I'm gonna
time,
do the
everyone.
math.
I was going to go 3 and 3/4, but I'm like, round up. Round up.
We should get better at fractions since we're rating this.
3.83.
3.83.
3.8.
3.8.
3.83 repeating.
No.
3.83.
Write that on the thing.
That's the same- That's the same we gave Star Wars.
Was it?
Yeah. I gave it a 4, Dan gave it a 4.1.
I gave it
you
a
gave it a
3.5.
3.5. So,
We're being consistent.
yeah.
Or just the movies we're seeing are being consistent.
Now, Dan, the age-old question.
I saw somebody tweet that the new Jumanji's better than Star Wars, and I'd like to think it's not.
This world is lost.
Yeah.
Dan, you ask a question every time after we're done scoring about where Goldblum
so
is.
where would Jeff Goldblum fit into Molly's game? I think he could replace Kevin Costner as Molly's dad. Or he just plays player X or somebody who sits in at the table and plays poker.
He's the
on
prosecuting attorney.
Ooh.
Oh, instead of that Native American guy who plays the old Native American in every movie for the last 20 years.
No, he was the judge. He could be the judge too. The prosecuting
Judge would be
attorney
good.
was the guy that Idris Elba goes off on in that one
Oh,
meeting.
who was that guy? What else is he in?
I've seen him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
He looks like Ed Norton.
he was not.
Yeah,
but,
no, he looked like an older version of Ed Norton. I want to look else. I want to see what else that guy's in. I've got the Molly's.
I thought Goldblum would be an awesome free living swagger filled poker player. Like he just oozes like elegantness about him, and then goes into this poker game. He's just like a loose, fun having guy. I think he would have fit in there. But judge or like prosecuting attorney would be, I think, ideal.
because it was
That's
a big
good.
enough role to where it would actually work.
That's
too.
good casting.
So, who? I can't remember the guy's name.
He's been in the guy's name is J.C. McKenzie, and he's the prosecuting attorney. He's been in The Departed, The Wolf of Wall Street, The Aviator,
Wow.
Vinyl. He's been in. He seems to be a main character on Law and Order.
Now, who was the guy that was Player X's friend that he brought in? He was in The Night of.
Harlan Eustace.
He was great.
He's played by Bill Camp.
Yeah, he was in The Night of. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was in a couple of scenes, and I thought he was awesome, especially when he lost his shit. That
No,
was dope.
The judge was played by Graham Greene, who just plays.
Wind River.
Yeah, he's in Wind
He's Native
River. He's
American
in The
guy.
Green Mile. He's in Dances with Wolves. So you'll see him as the old Native American man in every movie for the last 25 years.
I like that he was a grump in this too.
Mhm.
He's like, because I spit at it every day.
Yeah,
Well,
it was awesome.
So we ready to move on?
It's hard to find showings of Molly's Game at this point, but I would recommend it on demand if you miss it in theaters. It's a good time. Now, our discussion topic this week. This is 2018 if you're listening by this point, and I think New Year's resolutions are kind of a fad and they never really work, but
I agree.
I think it's important every year to reset the clock and kind of shift your goals and figure out where you're headed in the new year. And I wanted to talk about things you guys want to improve on going into 2018. What have you wanted to improve? I could start.
yes.
Mine
Go ahead.
isn't necessarily profound, but it was my goal last year, and it was good. I have made it my goal to floss more since we turned into 2017, and by God, my teeth are doing okay. And I think it's something everyone should do. Everyone just says like flossing's stupid. No one has the time for it.
It is.
but it's like an extra minute. And
No, you-
Tom Hanks once said in a Reddit AMA, which is an Ask Me Anything, so a celebrity will go on Reddit and people ask him questions. the best advice you could give to anyone. And Tom Hanks said, floss more. It's the secret to keeping your teeth after age 50. And I was like, I want my teeth, so I'm going to floss because Tom Hanks told me to.
I get those little dinosaur flossers.
Yeah,
So you can hold, so you have better control of where you're putting it.
it's much easier. And it's fun when it's dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Much like Santa Claus, dinosaurs also aren't real. They're a piece of fiction. They never happen.
And
That's not
apparently so is climate change.
Yeah.
According to the Don.
According to a lot of idiots, actually.
Yeah.
Including the Don. It's unbelievable. All right, now I'm thrown off. Okay.
What would you like to improve going into 2018? It could be something stupid like flossing. Or big
no,
stuff.
I've got a lot of plans for 2018. I want to be able to just kind of be on top of things. I felt like towards the end of this year, I kind of slacked off a little bit more than I normally do, and I didn't really finish strong. And I feel like, I just want 2018 to be, back on my game a little bit, be on top of things. Because I'm going to need to. I mean, just a lot of things going on with school and work that I'm going to have to be on top of. Because next year, here's the gaming lineup for next year, Ryan. A lot of video games come out next year that I'm very excited about. We've got Red Dead Redemption 2. We've got Spider-Man for PS4.
Jesus.
We've got Kingdom Hearts 3, which is the big one. And the placeholder date on The Last of Us Part 2 is November of 2018, but it's probably going to get pushed back. But, as of right now, that placeholder date is nice. But, I mean, Kingdom Hearts 3 is a huge one, but those 3 games, like possibly 4, could just take up my entire life. And, I want to be on top of everything else that's going on in my life so that when I do give my time to those games, I'm still doing all right in everything else.
It sounds like that's going to throw a wrench in your holding yourself together plan, having all these video games.
Kingdom Hearts 3 is obviously, one I've anticipated for a very long time. And I know full well, I'm going to take off work or I'm going to take off, I'm going to skip class. I know for a fact I am just going to plan a whole week around playing that game.
It's weird how, and they might not seem like a big deal to people who don't play video games, but it's weird how it can really take over your life. Like when Fallout 4 came out 2 springs ago, it actually ejected me from social life. It was all I did. It was not good.
And it's all right.
It can ruin your life.
It's all right to do. I mean, if you've been anticipating a game for a very long time, play it, obviously. But make sure you're on top of things. And that's what I want to be. Because, at the end of the semester here, Battlefront 2 came out, and I got a Nintendo Switch, and my focus was not there. Because I'd get home from class and, not study. I'd play video games. So, just don't let them control your life. I like how I'm giving advice to people when this is my New Year's resolution. Maybe nobody gives a shit about mine. But, yeah, I just want to be on top of things more. But I also still want to, balance my life out, have a lot of fun, and play games and go out and, dude, we all turned 21 in 2018. This is about to be a great year.
Good year.
Yeah. Mike.
So, anyone who knows me knows that I go through about 95% of my day with a very level head and logical way of thinking. I have about one blow up a day on just something so minuscule that pisses me off, and it is always a waste of time, usually about politics or something I read. What I'm really trying to do is, this year I got away from reading politics and going to mainstream news sources. That was step 1. This year, in general conversation, I'm going to stop trying to get so worked up about things that shouldn't work me up. Because if I can go through 99% of my day or 100% of my day with a logical and level head of thinking, I'll be much better. But I got to avoid these blow-ups that occasionally happen where I just get pissed off for no reason. And it's generally politics or just stupid people that I got to start realizing they don't matter and they don't affect my life whatsoever. So I'm really trying to get better at or even watching the Mizzou game the other day. I was losing my shit. I got to just get better at not getting so mad so easily because, as you know, I am very logical the other rest of it, but it's just a weird switch.
Well, what's great about this, though, is the three of us can help each other out. You know, like every morning I could be like, Ryan, did you floss today? And you could be like,
check me out.
And you could be like, I don't know, Dan, just stop fucking playing Kingdom Hearts 3 until 3 o'clock in the morning. And I could be like, no. And then you'd be like, oh, well, I forgot to floss. And then Mike goes, fuck you both. I fucking hate you. And he loses his mind. And then we all ruin our 2018 improvements. I'm not going to call them resolutions. But, I mean, we could all help
That's
each
exactly
other out.
what's going to happen. Like, first week we're back at our apartment.
I don't think I'm going to get pissed at you for not flossing. I don't think you're going to get pissed at me for playing the anticipated game I've wanted for so long to playing it until 3 a.m. And I don't think Mike's going to get pissed for us getting pissed. Mike could think that's funny.
No, I never really get mad at you guys. It's outer of my what's the word I'm looking for? It's out of my reach stuff that pisses me off, and that's what I want to get better at.
Or like I could come home with a story about something that pisses me off that could like also piss you off.
That's generally what happens.
Yeah.
Mike, you're one of those people that, like, when you're mad, it's just best to just let you fizzle out and do your thing. And it hurts so much to just leave that, but I know that it's the best way to do it. Like, oftentimes, like, most of the time, when I notice you're mad, it's because, like, some sort of technology is not working. And man, I just want to help, but I know that I can't even get in there, and it just sucks to watch. And I wish, like, there were some way we could fix you.
It's so dumb. It's like always. It's like 10 to 15 minutes a day of just something.
I have a Mike story. It happened a couple weeks ago. Me, Mike, and our friend Clint, we were playing Battlefront 2, and it's been out for like a month. And Clint and I have done our we've done our progression, we've done some leveling up, and Mike's been playing just as long as we have.
This is on Battlefront?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Mike was dying a lot, and he was getting pissed off at other people who had like more star cards than him and everything like that. And then we were done playing for the night, but we were all still on our mics. We went back to the main menu, and then Mike finally figured out how to do the progression system after getting very angry during our last match. And then as soon as he figured out, he's like, oh, that makes sense.
Oh, man.
Me and Clint were just kind of like, yeah, there you go.
It was a night of irritation.
Yeah, but he figured it out.
Okay. Let's say you get thrown back in time into, like, 1879. It's the frontier. You're living there. There's no technology to get mad at. Do you think you'd still find things to get mad at in a simple time?
As a cynic, you're gonna get mad.
You'll find something.
You'll find something. But the people, I feel like I'd relate to the people then a lot more, and it's more manual labor, which at the time was fine. I'd like to think I'd be better, but I'd probably still find something that would just irritate me.
I think if I were thrown back to 1879, the biggest problem I'd have is, like, hygiene. Is that, like, everybody would smell. There's not deodorant. Oh my God.
Well, so are you saying we go back with, like, our knowledge today?
Yeah, you're thrown through a time portal, and it would be no technology for you to get mad at.
Doc Brown takes you in a DeLorean back to
That can happen.
1885.
And then I'd be mad they don't have technology because I'm a hypocrite.
There's no Wi-Fi.
It'd be kind of fun to just drink. Like you could bring
that goes for a
you
bit.
could bring back $5 and get like a barrel of whiskey.
Yeah.
Actually,
$5 can make you more rich than J.D. Rockefeller.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was alive.
He
then.
had more than $5.
I know.
He was hung.
Apparently, he was a bad man to people, though.
Oh, you seen There Will Be Blood? Very much based upon
the
life of John Rock, loosely.
Okay.
But, like, yeah, he just Dan's laughing at an obscure vagina reference.
Yeah.
That's what it is. I just knew.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, with his was horizontal integration, right? Where he's like buying up smaller companies and
Yeah.
he's fucking them over. Yeah,
Yeah.
he fucked.
That guy fucked.
I mean, he was an asshole, but he paved the way for capitalism. So I love.
Oh yeah,
him.
he increased his supply chain. That was the thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's all I know about economics. Well,
But that's it.
yeah.
That caps off 2017. We starting off 2018. Guys, we started this podcast in 2017. Let's not forget.
Mhm. We're almost a year old.
2017 was a great year. We brought you this podcast in 2017, but we're looking to go on into 2018 strong with more movies. Avengers Infinity fucking War comes out in 2018.
Is that part of the title card?
Oh my god. And the Han Solo movie comes out in 2018, and that's rumor has it that's not going to be good. The Fantastic Beasts sequel comes out in 2018. We got a lot in store for us in 2018, so we got to keep on going. I'm happy we're doing this podcast.
Any final thoughts before I close this out?
Top 5 movies next week.
Yeah, top 5 movies of 2017. It'll be week 2 of 2018. You can wind down from, all your noisemakers and your fireworks and your drinking to hear what our top 5 movies of 2017 is next week.
I hope that you walk into 2018 with a smile on your face and a positive attitude.
You know what? When it hits midnight, tomorrow night Sunday night. Yesterday night for the listeners, last night for the listeners. I hope that I look you straight in the face with a frown on my face.
Oh my God. Dan's gonna slap you into 2018.
Yeah.
You're gonna be crying.
Just know that when you're listening to this, we will have drunk ourselves into a hole the night before.
I think everybody has. So I hope we've been, a form of catharsis for all of your drinking and your wrongdoings and your sins from last night.
Yeah.
And I hope you can start off your 2018 with with some laughs and some conversations about sandwiches and Molly's game, and then
Ryan's bad jokes.
and Ryan's horrible Jessica Alba joke. But we can forget about it.
They're gonna throw up when they hear that.
Oh, I hope so.
Okay.
someone hears that joke and just vomits.
Yeah, it would really make their hangover worse and all that.
Could you imagine? That's probably the worst.
That joke sucks.
If you're you're a comedian, you're in the comedy club, there's some like comedy exec in the back watching your show, and you just tell a joke, and you hear some guy go, "Whoa!" I'd just be like, I'd quit comedy.
No, I feel like they'd thrive off that.
Off of shitty comedy?
No, like someone vomits at their joke. A good comedian would be
That'd be
able
fun
to
to
pick
work
that
to
up.
pick up and roll with that.
Yeah.
But if you're a shitty comedian and you go for shock value like we do, I feel like that'd be tough for us to go.
Speak for yourself, Dan.
Oh,
I'm.
Dan and I.
Sorry. Yes, Mike and I.
There you go.
Mike and Ike's.
good candy.
I'm not a
They're
fan.
they're in the middle.
All right. I'm not gonna open up that box.
John-
We're trying to
John-
close
Open
this
up that box.
Oh.
of Mike and Ike's. That's what we meant.
Thought you meant
Year in
Elaine.
review. Remember the first episode when we did the box office?
That went away.
What were we thinking?
That went away.
Yeah.
That went away by
We
episode 2.
No
Yeah.
one cares about what a movie made except like the rich people that make
except
them.
I think
Star
the thought
Wars,
was
which is
like,
gonna
say
dominate
what's
the
in
box
theaters
office all the
right
time.
now.
Yeah.
But we review the movie every week that's in theaters. So it was counterproductive.
That's all right. We figured it out.
Can I close the fucking show out already? All right. And that is this week's podcast. Remember that each and every Monday morning we upload to YouTube, SoundCloud, and iTunes. Give us a follow on Facebook and Twitter to keep up with all the shit we're throwing out there.
We're not throwing shit out there. We're throwing a quality podcast out
With all that stuff we're smearing on the walls.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
Mr. Hanky.
it smells. And as always, thank you for listening.
Love you guys, and tell us your favorite album, and thanks, and happy 2018. Bye.
What if God was one of us? Just a slob like one of us.